have a member of Never Lucky ready for us to talk to. Olrun from Never Lucky. How are you guys feeling after that victory?
Pretty good. We were pretty confident going into that match, so the start of the first game shook us up a little bit because we didn't expect very much competition there. But second game showed what we thought, how we thought we should play.
So going into this matchup, I kind of thought that you guys were going to be focusing a lot on the team fights, of course. So that's where you guys, I assume, want to be at. Focusing on that for especially a matchup like this, where you think you're going to be really confident and going into it with a lot of, an upper hand, I guess. But how did you feel going into that game too, where you started seeing, hey, this Mesmer isn't really running? First of all, did you even notice that the Mesmer had changed his build? And then if you did, how did you kind of change your play style in order to play against that?
I mean, so for the second game, I swapped from Sentinels to Soldiers because I realized that they were running a little squishier than normal and that I could actually kill them. But in general, we didn't really need to react much to the Condi pressure put out by Q-Hu because there wasn't really any point in those games where people were like, "I'm overloaded with Condis, I need help." So it wasn't really anything we needed to respond to. Yeah.
Well, I must say for myself, you guys had a rocky start to your season, solidified that roster, have come a long ways now, sitting 2-3 with 2 matches remaining. Of course, basically out of contention for that top 2 spot. But moving forward for the next 2 weeks, and of course season 2, if you're not relegated for that matter, how do you guys, what are you guys prepping for moving forward?
Well, we got to get Fayav to stop calling for Vales and Waterfields, first of all. His GPG commanding, it just takes over. But really, what we got to work on is our synergy in fights. Mechanically, we're all where we need to be pretty much. It's just there are times where we aren't communicating exactly what we need effectively, or trusting each other to do what we need to do, like get reses off, or sometimes double stomps go through. But basically, we just need to get our team fighting down. And probably instead of doing scrims some days where we do the whole match, we'll probably just sit down, start doing team fights, reset after the one team wipes, and just repeatedly do the team fights.
So you talk about how you guys are feeling pretty confident mechanically, and we actually made mention of that. How it seems like the players individually have been developing very rapidly. They're doing a good job. Fayav, of course, doing a good job of increasing his skill level. I mean, like I said, very rapidly over the course of the last couple of weeks since he's been on Never Lucky. Of course, you also have Steel. How do you feel about those players and your team in general? Moving into January 26th, where maybe some things might get shuffled around? Do you think that they're going to be able to adapt as quickly as they did? I mean, of course, Steel playing that Mesmer build. Do you think that your whole team is going to be able to adapt to those changes that could potentially come?
So Steel and Bear are both very strong multi-classers. They play a lot of classes, so I'm not worried about us adapting to new metas like class-wide. Even now, like most people know Stal for Ellie, but we've been busting out him on Necro for some of the scrims and doing very well with that. So just based on how well the people on the team multi-class, I think we'll be able to adapt to a changing meta very well.
All right.
The main thing is adjusting to the differences in rotations as comps change.
All right. Well, any last shout outs or anything you'd like to say to your fans out there before we cut you off? Rubber Ducky, maybe?
Nah, I was just gonna shout out to Marvin. He knows why.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
thank you for joining us tonight. That was Olrun from Never Lucky.